have lines. And you can see this one is perfectly marked with a fourth of an inch. I mean, a half an inch, 5/8. 5/8 is what you normally use for dressmaking, clothes making. So a half an inch, half of a half an inch is a fourth of an inch. So see, even it goes all the way to an eighth of an inch. 3/8, 5/8. So you can use your pad.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I was taught to sew mainly.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you can use is there's all kinds of machine guides out there. Machine guides out there that can help you find a 1/4 inch seam allowance. All you would have to do is you gently put your needle in the hole.
And you've really got to lift your foot and see what you're doing there, so you're not.
Yes. And then once
damaging
you
your
can,
needle.
and then, well, we're not going to put the foot down. So you can see where a fourth of an inch is on your sewing machine.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that neat?
Mm-hmm.
You can put a piece of tape here.
Mm-hmm.
You can use, just plain washi tape, which
Mm-hmm.
I've used that before, masking tape. So that's a seam guide.
Mm-hmm.
We have had those, and we can get them. Our favorite, of course, is Cluck Cluck Sew from Seam Guide Tape, but we also have, oh my gosh, look at this one. If you're a blue person, purple.
So here's why I like this one, because when I use this one, the very edge right here is white, and I sometimes get confused.
So
Where
yeah,
this is blue.
and you can really
You
see
can
it.
see clearly where your
So
edge is.
Seam Guide Tape works when you use this. You tear off a piece, and it goes. The red line is your needle, which is the middle. You don't want to cover up the feed dogs, but you want to find the middle, and you want to go straight. Now, here's the thing. You want to go straight. You want to have everything kind of perpendicular.
Yep.
Is that the correct word? You don't want to put it on and you have it skewed. That's not going to help you.
No, you got no chance.
You have no chance in that. So your 1/4 inch won't be right. So you just find your needle. You could even go further in, but the hard thing is it's sticky.
Make sure not to cover your feed dogs.
And you don't want to cover your feed dogs, but you could go up, have you a nice long piece, and then tear it off
trim it,
once
yeah.
you need it.
Yeah.
I also cut mine right here.
Yeah.
So I can still get into my bobbin.
So yes. Cookie, huh?
So I don't have to waste it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing you can do is, which is my favorite because school supplies are out. I've already bought new glue. I love
Did
it.
you see that video I sent to you? The lady with the glue on her skin?
No.
Oh, you'll have to watch it.
Okay. Index cards. For the most part, you do need to verify your index cards, but for the most part, every line is a fourth of an inch apart.
Oh my word. How did we get this far in life not knowing that, people?
I'm just saying.
How did we not know that?
So here's the other great thing about index cards.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's a fourth of an inch. See?
What? How did you discover that?
A sewing teacher.
Oh, okay.
Because we had to sew something, in class that everybody had to have the same seam allowance. Yeah. So she made us all use this. An
index card.
So if you're sewing in a group, you're making a group project, you can do this. So the easiest way to do that is I did trim off, the edge there.
Edge, yeah.
And so what you would do is you would put your needle right down into the line.
Awesome.
And then you could put tape right beside it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Who is it? Some people will put like a stack of business cards so they have that little edge. But we did for a student recently because we couldn't find our seam guide tape. It was put up in a safe place. We used a command strip.
Oh,
and so
nice.
It stuck on it on the machine. But then you could take it off. But it was just enough of a lip that it gave her a guide to sew by. So there's that.
Very good. All right.
Okay. Now the other thing that you could do, cut you some squares. And you're going to sew a fourth of an inch seam, or what you think is a fourth of an inch seam. Put your squares together. I cut 2-inch squares. And now we're going to, I'm going to sew on the machine. Oh, it's going to go down by itself. So I'm sewing at 1/4 of an inch. I'm using a line right there. Isn't that nice sounding? This has a thread cutter.
And it does a beautiful stitch.
Look at that.
Look at that stitch.
So it's a scant 1/4 of an inch because that's what I like. And so here's the next thing. Remember, this is 2 inches for each one. I'm going to press it to the dark side. You can press open. You can press, whichever way you like. I try and go to the dark side because I'm that way.
She always goes to the dark side.
I'm going to the dark side. So remember, I started out with 2-inch squares, which would be 4 inches across. I took a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance on 2 pieces of fabric, so that takes a 1/2 an inch off. So it's 3.5. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Now, if it wasn't 3.5, then you figure out if it's not 3.5, then maybe it's smaller than 3.5. Then you took too big of a seam, which means you need to either adjust where you're, sewing, or if you have a machine like this, you can change your needle where it goes, and
can move your needle over. So it's good to have what you're saying. It's good to have a scrap piece like this to test your seam, so that you know before you actually start your project, you know exactly where you're at, and make the adjustments you need before you start your project.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, very smart.
Isn't that cute?
It's very cute.
Christmassy.